course, it was our 1000th Grand Prix just a few weeks ago, wasn't it, where MotoGP legend Giacomo Agostini had the pleasure and privilege of waving the checkered flag. And Luton, Olympic champion and 4 times world champion pro cyclist. That's not a bad CV at all, isn't it? A special moment for her then at the end of this 26-lap Dutch TT. Jonsbo then, with a fair amount of work to do after his 13th place in the sprint. 8th place on the grid goes the Frenchman after high-speed crash in P1. But what a weekend it has been so far in the Assen sunshine. The sun's certainly shining on
langsung di online kan
right now.
Maksudnya online?
Saturday morning, the sprint win on Saturday afternoon. What beckons to bears on Sunday afternoon here in Assen? Well, let's get the thoughts pre-race of Pablo Nieto, his team boss. Who's for Simon?
Maksudnya online gimana ya?
Pablo, I'd love to hear from you on both riders' fears this weekend. Just awesome from.
Amin, DJ semoga masuk 10 besar, amin. Bisa sih harusnya start di 13, masa nggak bisa sih? Startnya harus bener.
Yeah, yesterday we make amazing job. I think we missed a little bit with Luca, that he had some problem yesterday, but today in the warm-up we tried different setup of the bike and he likes it a little bit better. So we will continue with this.
Waalaikumsalam Faki.
We will see. It's difficult to say, no, because it's going to be very hard race. Pecco is in a very good moment. He always is over there. It's really important to try to make a very good the first 2 laps, because in then we saw it in the past that the first 2 laps is one of the main points of the race, and then after that one
ya Marquez gak main karena fracture di rusuknya. Thank you yang udah tap Lutfi sama Makul.
The winner of the Argentinian Grand Prix, Tomaterio Hondo, the winner of that dramatic 1000th Grand Prix at Le Mans. This one you feel it's a Grand Prix win, the Dutch TT at such a classic and historic venue like we have in Assen. This is a race win in the
Selama 20 menit lagi. 15 menit.
On their CV. Pekka Bagnaia had that honor here 1 year ago. This man trying to take the big prize here today. He's got a lot of support in the grandstand. He was soaking up the atmosphere post TSO sprint yesterday, wasn't he? Marco Bezzecchi.
Anjir, baru banget aku live udah 1000 like aja.
Of course, there's the World Championship permutations that also figure into this Grand Prix. Marco Bezzecchi 31
Aduh, tadi nggak ngeliat lagi ban-bannya. Kayaknya ada yang pakai podium medium. Kapan nontonnya Mas? Nih. Masih kayak gini.
2005 was 1 year that Valentino Rossi won this Dutch TT. Now let's go and see what's happening to Yamaha in the present day. A bit of a morale boost yesterday for Fabio Quartararo on the sprint.
Gak bisa ditayangin full, biasanya kayak gini. Aduh.
Lynn, it looks and sounds like there's some real hope back in the Yamaha camp, and feels like you think it's possible, the team in general, that Fabio could do something special.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, yesterday obviously was a really good sign. Qualification 4, then in the result to get the podium.
Ya nanti ya, belum dapat infonya.
And Fabio's feeling after the race was it can be the same today. I think it really depends if we're able to tag on behind the Ducatis at the start. We got to get out of the gate quickly.
Bang, orang mana? Orang Cikarang.
It's very hot. I don't think his toe will be a problem, so it's a matter of race strategy and tire durability, and so fairly conservatively confident.
Thank you, Lynn, and good luck this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Takut kena ban kalau kayak gini, ntar aja.
Thanks, Simon. 2 years ago, of course, here in 2021, Fabio Quartararo did win.
Marquez absen ya, absen. Masih sakit di tulang rusuknya. Mas MS Sandis, makasih udah nge-follow.
who looked dead and buried in the championship chase, but then the picture
Wah,
completely
80-an.
changed. As Quattraro
Wow,
had two
thank you, udah
crashes
mampir ya
in this
80
very
orang.
Grand Prix 1 year ago, and this man held off Marco Bezzecchi to take a win. It was the first of four
Tulang
in a row
rusuknya
for
sakit.
Pecco Bagnaia, and that was a sort of seismic shift
Masih dari
after
efek
power,
yang
wasn't
kemarin
it?
kalau nggak salah yang dari
2022
Saxering.
GP World Championship chase. Complete role reversal though this year. It's Bagnaia that comes into this Grand Prix as the championship leader, with Fabio Quartararo still inside the top 10 as the fans start to fill up the seats. What a vantage point that is. One of the best
Lawas banget ya,
vantage
Pak.
points in Grand
Suwe
Prix
rawaru.
racing. That floating grandstand over the
Rawaru apa?
magnificent timber chicane. Is there going to be more fireworks?
Aku
and
ngerti
more
loh itu
drama
bahasanya.
as we head into
Aku orang
there?
Jawa
Of course,
soalnya.
this man's brother Marc Marquez
Halo Bang, halo
had his
Wik.
fair share of skirmishes there with none other than Valentino
Median
Rossi
saya
back in
thank you udah
2015.
nge-follow.
Alex Marquez.
Aku juga live di YouTube by the way. Biasanya main game. Kalau mau mampir namanya sama kayak yang di ini nih. Nobar Bang, nobar gininya. Nobar ya gini doang nih. Aku lepas aja ya pakai ini. Bang suka main game apa? Benar nggak? Aduh.
Promoted into the top 9 with that point on the final lap. Let's head quickly back down to the grid and get some thoughts from Honda. Stefan Bradl in for Alex Rins this weekend at LCR. He's on the grid with Simon.
He is.
Game
Stefan,
yang aku
it must be
biasa.
always hard stepping in, you know, as a test rider, jumping into races like you do. But it looks to me that you're
Bang
even
suka
doing
main game
development
apa?
in the race
PB.
with some new different parts starting the race
Oh
today.
guys.
Well, yeah, it's
Genshin,
to be honest, with test in
Mobile
Misano, we
Legend,
had
PUBG
Tuesday,
Mobile.
Wednesday, and,
Kenal
yeah,
Apip
now
nggak
race
Bang?
Sunday,
Yang
and
zaman
on
dulu
the
tukang
third
tutup
different
kereta.
chassis this
Apip
week,
ini
so
kah?
it's,
Novel Faisal
a little
Afif?
bit tough at the moment to understand the
Ya
situation.
teman aku tuh dulu
Obviously,
Rail Fans.
yeah, let's try to collect some data and see how we can useful
Mabar Bang.
be
Mabar
in the
apa?
summer break, because that's the most important right now. Try to finish the race in a
Yeah,
in the
si
best possible
Apip.
way, try to learn from the others a little bit, and
Jeneng Mas
try
Gosip.
to enjoy as much as
Oh Mas Kopip, aku ngerwe Mas Gosip. Epep. Peraturannya gak mainin Epep. Sikin nang deep Pip. Malah ketemu nang kene Pip.
And what we think will be for the final time. It's great to see Pol Espargaro back in the MotoGP paddock here in Assen for the first time since his horrendous crash in Portimao practice. Serious multiple injuries. Jonas Folger continues to stand in for him. And we have Lorenzo Savadori now completing what is a 5
Senang kota tercinta anjay.
in this Dutch TT. Luca Marini then. He said
Kuliah
yesterday's
Bokpip
disaster,
apa
a nightmare in the sprint,
apa wis kerja?
just no
Apa tes
front
SMA?
feeling whatsoever. And if you're missing front feeling around these high-speed Assen corners, well, that is not a particularly pleasant experience, is it? Marini started on the front row of the grid, but struggled home in a very lonely 10th place. He goes from the front row for the 4th time this year, though. Has he found something to get him closer in that battle with Bezzecchi and Bagnaia?
Oh, semester 6.
It's going to be
Nang
interesting to see
Cikarang.
what role he plays at the front of this field if Bagnaia and Bezzecchi are able to get out ahead of Marini, if he's going to form a bit of a rolling roadblock early in this Grand Prix. Marini,
Ini masih kayak
we
gini.
hope that he doesn't. Of course, the rider to watch, as is so often in the case early in these starts, is the
Kalau nggak
TTM on the
Bezzecchi,
grid. That, of
Pecco.
course, is Brad Binder. He will start from 5th. Of course, he got straight in amongst the Ducatis from the front row yesterday in the sprint. He'll be hoping to do the same again here this afternoon.
So will Pecco Bagnaia be the first rider to win back-to-back Dutch TTs since Valentino Rossi in 2004 and 2005? We're going to take a short pause as we get set for the traditional pre-race ceremony and the Dutch national anthem.
Perantauan ya Pak, yoi. Yo, Alfari. Final. Kalian tahu nggak sih kalau Honda udah ngebiarin Marquez pindah? Kalau Marquez mau pindah katanya silakan aja gitu. Kita nggak butuh rider yang nggak betah sama Honda. Tapi masalahnya Marquez Surya buat viewsnya pas takut dikira saya SKSD yang aku temenan by the way sama Apip. Tapi masalahnya Marquez bakal susah nyari tim. Soalnya KTM udah ada Pedro Acosta mau masuk, itu pun harus numbalin satu rider. Terus KTM bilang mereka nggak mau ngancurin hubungan antara Miller sama Binder, jadi bakal pindah. Nggak tahu, tergantung dapat atau enggaknya. KTM nggak bisa, Ducati juga nggak bisa, karena Ducati kan lebih suka sama rider yang lebih muda. Marc Marquez sudah 30. LiveStream sama Mir juga mau ninggalin Honda. Rumornya, baru rumor sih. Rumornya ke Yamaha, gantiin Morbidelli. Masuk tim gas-gas nggak mungkin. Marc Marquez nggak mungkin masuk tim gas-gas, soalnya Pedro Acosta masuk kan. Kalian ngerti kah bahasanya? I'm one of my I need to work. I have a month and I have to repeat all these things to get my confidence back.
Hope to see we can do a good race and then go into those 5 weeks and get stronger.
Thank you and good luck this afternoon.
Welcome.
Makanya Marquez kan lagi coba nyari tim, lagi ngelobi. Tas 7 hilang po. Berlangganan naik Pip 40.000 Pip nang MNC Vision Plus. Kameranya nggak jelas kan, kayak gini. Kamera yang apa? Kamera HP.
Yes, a longer distance and more temperature on the track, so we are around 50 degrees, so it's very hot, especially for this track here. And yeah, this morning after the warm-up, the choice was front, of course, everybody with the hard one. Maybe 1 or 2 rider with the medium, and in the rear
pengguna link
half medium, but now because of the track temperature, more and more riders they are switching on the rear medium. So more medium on the rear because of the temperature and the distance. But we still have
si Kenza sih nang di Pip, Kenza. Arkana Kenza.
The two Gresini.
Kuncomo juga mau. Alah.
So we have to see, but yeah, it is a little bit risky choice, but he can do until the end of
Quarter
the race.
sprinters dapat podium hoki dia. Iya. Oke. Oh, I
mean, he will go to the end.
Moto2 Jack Dixon, Ai Ogura sama Pedro Acosta. Andai Marquez nggak crash di Jerez ya, juara dunia itu fix. Satu-satunya rider yang kompetitif di tahun itu cuma Marquez soalnya. Mungkin banget. Nah, habis itu turun tuh performa tuh gara-gara cedera. Mana sempet habis jatuh itu crash. Itu kan double header ya. Balapan lagi. Dia bisa balapan lagi loh, gila. Di ini lagi. Dibilang kalau dia bisa ikutan di weekend selanjutnya gitu. Gak bisa, ntar kena Bennett iniku TikTokku. Jadi kayak gini. Moto3 sing menang. Moto3 itu aduh, kelalen. Masih ya Sasaki, Dennis Woncu.
Front tire temperature or pressure problems, which what he did yesterday. He managed to catch very quickly that battle for the podium positions involving Quartararo,
Harusnya 2020 Fabio Jordan. 2020 itu yang Marquez itu bukan sih? Yang Marquez jatuh bukan? Oh, yang sama Mir ya? Battle sama Mir. Ya, sayangnya dia jatuh terus tuh di akhir-akhir musim tuh. Yang sama Mir kan bener? Prediksi Peko Martin Fabio enggak. Beseki Peko yang ketiga mungkin mungkin Martin sama Binder. Siapa ngerti jadi moderator.
A rider who was not really hotly tipped to be so strong as he has been in the first part of this season. So the safety car, the BMW, peels away from the start. 5 minutes away.
Feelingku Ducati top 3. Prediksiku Ducati top 3.
6-lap Motul TT Assen. I'm told that there are 105,000 fans here today.
Rank ML Legend. Cuman jarang main ML.
To witness potentially more Ducati domination. Luca Marini finds himself on the front row of the group for the 6th time in MotoGP career. 4th time this year. Pecco Bagnaia looking to make it back-to-back Dutch TT wins. But there's been one man in complete charge of this Dutch TT weekend so far. Marco Bezzecchi starts from pole position. Is there more brilliance coming from Bez?
Mulai nih. Aduh. Udah pasti tuh kasih 13 atau enggak ada Yamaha. Kayaknya kayak di M sih, Binder kayak bisa ngacak-ngacak dah. Cuman kalau Honda sama Yamaha agak susah, apalagi Honda cuman Nakagami. Yamaha cuman Quartararo lagi cedera jempol. Sprint race oke lah bisa karena lapnya nggak banyak kan. Kalau di race kan lebih banyak lagi itunya lapnya. KTM full race, main race agak berat, ya emang. Cuman ya siapa tahu ya kan. Di Harris bisa kok, masa di Asen nggak bisa. Oh sama Alex, kalian jangan lupain Alex Espargaro. Paul Espargaro belum comeback. Paul kan yang dimaksud belum comeback, tapi dia datang ke Asen. Sempet ada kok di boxnya gas-gas. Nah habis seri ini break sampai Agustus. In 2023, 26 laps then of this legendary Assen circuit coming your way in MotoGP in front of a packed full house, over 105,000 fans enjoying this early summer sunshine here in Assen. There are your most recent winners then. Marc Marquez sadly sidelined. Who will ever forget that incredible 2018 battle here 5 years ago? Winning that league group, there are over 150 this afternoon in the next 40 minutes or so. Bezzecchi goes from pole, a long Italian front row, then with Bagnaia, world champion in second. Really on that front row as well. The flares are already going off. Trackside here, keep a close eye on Jorge Martin, and he making back-to-back Grand Prix wins for the first time in his MotoGP career. Big task for him coming from that Luka Savadori.
final tyre information is through from Michelin. Bit of a 50-50 split with those who've gone for the medium and the soft rear tyre. Top 4 on the grid have all gone for the medium. The key contenders to look out for on the soft rear tyre are Brad Binder starting 5th and Johan Zarco starting 8th.
A record crowd of 116,000 fans in Le Mans. A record crowd last weekend in Germany at the Sachsenring, over 100,000. Same here today in Assen. And of course, we're looking forward to our first stopover coming up later on this season, September the 24th.
Lah.
There are thousands of fans watching back home in
Lebar tuh Ezeki.
There you go. 179,000 fans have come into this great circuit here this weekend. Tickets for our first ever Indian Grand Prix have gone on sale this weekend. If you get a chance to go to our inaugural Bird International Circuit class, September the 23rd, grab your tickets now. It's going to be the hottest ticket in town. As we mentioned, the fans are coming back to MotoGP in their droves. 105,000 fans watching here today. We look forward to our first trip to India in late September. In the present though, it's all about the Dutch TT.
Nah, kelihatan semua tuh startnya.
26 laps around the Cathedral of Speed. Green flag waves at the back. It's full.
Aku ngeliat di Jia.
Lights out and away we go here in Assen.
Aduh, dijawili. Look at Binder. Yah, Bezeki. Hey. Chaos banget itu tengah-tengah. Aduh, DJ jelek banget. 20 turun 7.
Once again, Luca Marini losing early ground here. He slipped already behind the Aprilia of Balista Spargo. There he is on the number 10 bike. Fabio Quattararo.
Wah, Quattararo 12 dong.
He went from that second row in 4th. He's down in 12th.
And Jorge Martin is behind him. He's 13th, so Martin didn't make ground on the first lap either. So Prima Pramac Ducati and Monster Yamaha having a terrible start to this Grand Prix.
What a sensational start that was. We're accustomed to seeing that, aren't we, though, from Binder, using that RC16 launch control to brilliant effect. He judged the lights himself fantastically. He got the lead on 3 Ducatis who are no slugs off the line. No, they're not sluggish off the line, but he got through on Bagnaia, Bezzecchi and Marini. It's Binder that's making the early running here in Assen.
Alessio Spargro's made a good start too. He's up 2 places into 4th. He's got Marini behind him and Oliveira. We're looking back at Fabio Quattararo then, who's running in 12th place as they come through the Ramsuck for the first time into the Gertima chicane. Brad Binder will lead us through there. That's the battle going on between Alex Marquez and Taka Nakagami. They're battling for 9th place.
Jack Miller
as he comes through on Maverick Vinales. That's for 7th place.
So Miller starting his charge towards the top 6. He started this Dutch TT in 12th.
Someone is off, I think. Oh, enggak ya, aman. Ah, Jack Miller. He lost the front. Kesel banget itu.
Binder, his teammate now at the front. So Miller had a really good first lap. He gained 5 spots, 12th to 7th, but his hopes end in a cloud of dust in the first corner.
So Jack Miller out of the Grand Prix. We're on board then with Pecco Bagnaia. We know that Brad Binder is not an easy rider to overtake. That KTM really does punch out of the disruption, but Bagnaia so quick there through turn 7 as they now round turn 8 onto one of the shorter straights around this circuit.
Jack still Jack. Ya gitulah, Jack Miller.
And Alessio Spargo also in the mix of this battle as well. He's just back there in 4th place ahead of Marini.
Fabio Quattararo had a really poor first lap, didn't he? As we mentioned, he did take the line at the end of that first lap down in 12th place. Johan Zarco, it was a horror show for the French flyer. Zarco over the line at the end of lap 1 in 14th spot. But it moved at 1 place after Miller's early error. But not what we were expecting to see from Zarco. Look like he's going to be having 4 straight Sunday podiums for the first time in MotoGP.
Back WhatsApp? Ah, belum dong.
Well, he had a look, but there's no way through. Binder just 2 on the front of that RC16 into 16.
Yeah, it's a tough, tall order to overtake Brad Binder at the best of times, let alone into that Gertima chicane where he is so good on the brakes. You can see Bagnaia snaking behind Binder to try and get it stopped. The fastest rider on
Vinales 134 009.
Inside the top 7 at the moment.
Yeah, Vinales got Oliveira on that sweep down to the braking zone for the first corner. He just got the better drive grip coming out the Timor chicane. There's a wave frustration for Jack Miller, not the way he wanted to go into 5-week summer break. He's just picking his way through there on Taka Nakagami.
And bush.
On board with Jorge Martin. That was Martin going through on Nakagami after his really poor first lap, and Miller careers out in front of him. So now Red Bull KTM hopes resting firmly on the broad shoulders of Binder, who's coming under big pressure here from Bagnaia.
Yeah.
This is
Somebody's off.
as well. I don't know if that may well have been
Quartararo Zarco. Quartararo Zarco jatuh.
Friendly fire. Quartararo then. There's going to be no double podium for him here.
Oh, Quartararo diam doang.
He's already got that serial, that nasty left.
Aduh, lagi cedera, jatuh lagi.
This is a fast part of the circuit.
Oh, he's okay, he's okay. He's okay.
High speed turn 6 and 7 before you attack towards second valve. We're going to try and find out what happened then between the two French friendly fires there. Quartararo clearly came off the worst of that one. It's going to be a painful start to his summer break, having, believe it or not, got injured at training, running in Amsterdam just a few days ago. After all that drama, Bagnaia then has taken the lead. Binder in second place, Betseki still in third place. He's been
jaraknya jauh banget lagi. Bestnya ini ke Morbidelli Dijia. Vinales. Vinales on fire.
8 podiums in his previous races here in Assen. 133.638. Vinales up to P5.
Yeah, you go a long way to find a better with a better rider with a
Ah, he's okay, he's okay.
Vinales around here. Fabio Quartararo being helped away. Let's hope that the pain he's in was pain that he was already suffering from when he got on the bike, rather than anything that's been exacerbated or made worse by that crash. But the Aprilias are looking menacing. Aleix Espargaro just at the back of the picture running 4th. Vinales fastest man on track in 5th. And Miguel Oliveira is now the next rider in line looking to try and
Vinales crash. Jangan spoiler kamu. Oh iya bener anjir. Ya elah baru dibilang Fantech is on fire. Jatuh dia. Jangan spoiler, kasihan yang ini woi. Ngejinx lagi. Wah. It's all about survival.
Slightly surprised that race direction haven't had a look at turn 7 because there's gravel all over the racetrack there from the incident between Quartararo and Zarco. We still haven't seen a second look at that, so we don't know whether they crashed independently or went down together. But Bagnaia sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as he leads Brad Binder, but they're very little to choose between them. Just 600.
Aja dia ngomong on fire wang kong ngejinx.
Also going with them. 0.6 of a second was our leading 3 with Aleix Espargaro, the sole Aprilia contender now in that leading quartet.
Aleix Espargaro fighting so hard to keep himself on tabs with this lead trio. He just set a 1:33.
Dijia yuk kejar ini ya.
For the race so far, but it was still 3 or 4 tenths behind Bagnaia. Binder and Betseki were directly ahead.
Bukan Nenea, Morbidelli. Bukan. Oh, ini Morbidelli bener.
Aleix Espargaro 1.2 seconds now clear on Marini. Binder, as you can see, the only man in the top 3 that went.
Binder pakai hard soft. Bagnaia hard medium, Betseki hard medium. Otak kena Gagami deng. Jauh banget lagi.
Aleix Espargaro 1.1 seconds behind. That mistake that we spotted on the previous lap cost him a good half second. He did a 1:34.5 on the previous lap, did Espargaro, which dropped him away from that leading trio and back towards Marini again. Oliveira's then behind him.
Tiba-tiba banyak yang ini. Marini berapa? Marini 5. Sekali sewang kita hirup masing-masing. Iyo Martin, Luca Marini. Wow, Marini langsung kesalip ke rider, 3 rider. Ya yuk bikin chaos yuk supaya DJ bisa naik. Tapi DJ harus beresin Morbidelli. Nakagami attack Marini.
Made that look so easy. It looks like Marini just can't turn that Ducati. Yesterday his problems were on the front end. You just wonder whether that's the same issue that he's got right now, because Luca Marini lost Well, has lost 5 places already on this current lap, or at the end of the last lap and the start of this current lap. Bad spell for Marini.
Alex Marquez comes through on Miguel Oliveira, so Oliveira starting to lose a little bit of ground early on in this race. This is what happened then into the final chicane as Martin cut it tight. You can see that moment there for Marini on the way out. He just had no momentum coming out of that Gert Timmer chicane. At this stage, he's running in 6th place. He ends up coming through the first corner in 9th.
It's a battle of survival.
Down even further into 10th. Back with the leaders there.
Alex nggak bisa keep up atau lagi saving tires.
And Betzeki, Alicia Spargaro further behind them. He's been able to chip away a 10th or 2 in the first half of this lap.
Ish, Binder.
Swarms all over the back of the reigning world champion.
Fastest man on the circuit right now, though, is the pole man and the pre-race favourite Betzeki on his last lap. He's about to complete
5 besar. Baknaya pertama, Binder 2, 3 Betzeki, 4 Alex Espargaro, 5 Martin.
Immediately retaliate and find and exchange their best laps of this Grand Prix. They do a 133.3 and 133.4 respectively. Right on board then now with the Mooney VR46 Ducati, the year-old GP22 in the more than capable hands of Betzeki through this tight first sector here in Assen. This was the part of the modified section first introduced back in 2006, and then now you move on to what we referred to as the good old-fashioned classic high-speed
sector 1
through the Weinschlang, through the Rushkin hook as well. 6 gear here.
Bastianini.
He's gone down, so already early on
Wow.
Dutch TT in the hottest conditions of the weekend.
Wah, motornya meleduk.
Down, and he's done some damage clearly because you can see some flames there from the exhaust there. He's gone down into the Strubben, so it's a pretty slow speed crash.
Wah.
Bastianini, but as you can see, it's now triggered some flames from the bottom of that GP23.
He was running in 8th place, was Bastianini, so already there.
DJ bisa top 10 nih.
Some big names, some big hitters in this Grand Prix.
DJ-nya 11. Bisa top 10 lawannya Bobby Daly. Bisa. Ah, itu. Kelihatan nggak? Aduh, nggak kelihatan ya? Tuh. Ah, Quartararo offside terus ke bawah Zarco. Wush. Friendly Fire, ya elah 12 dia. Lah Betzeki. Betzeki kenapa turun?
I think on the previous lap as he came very close to the back of Brad Binder through the Rushkin hook, turn 6, and the approach to 7. I think Betzeki just had to check up a little bit and avoid running into the back of Brad Binder, and that cost him a little bit of time on that last lap. As you say, he fell best part of a second behind. He did a 134.0 last time round, did Betzeki, so he's 8/10 of a second at the moment adrift of the rider that we're on board with now. Based on what we've seen from Betzeki so far this weekend, you'd expect him to very quickly cruise up to the back of this leading trio again. But another shout out again to Alicia Spargaro, who's doing a fine job in 4th place. He's near enough matching the leaders for pace. His personal best last time around, a 133.4. The Aprilia man is 1.5 seconds off the lead.
Would be a season best for Alicia Spargaro if he was to hold on to that 4th place. Fabio Quartararo, who's had a bruising end to that triple header here in Assen. The running accent jogging in Amsterdam while he was enjoying a sightseeing trip in between the German.
Mulai muncul deh time limit warning.
Left him with a special boot fitted this weekend both on and off the track, but he goes down all of his own accord and collects poor old Zarco with him as well. Betzeki has quickly regrouped here and some.
Langsung fastest lap dia Betzeki. Ah, kenapa bisa nyali sih Diji?
In this first section where Betzeki struggles more, it's in the high-speed, fast-flying section. He's so good at turning that Ducati through fast corners, and that's where he feels like.
Yes, 10, let's go.
We'll find out how that plays out over the last 18 laps or so. Still a long way to go here in Assen, and I guess one of the big question marks as well is just how much durability, how much endurance will Binder have out of that soft rear tyre choice, having had to push hard these early laps to lead and then try and stay with Bagnaia once he hit the front.
And he also needs to try and manage the temperature of his front tyre if he can as well, running behind the world champion for as long as he is. That gap has very quickly disappeared, hasn't it, between Brad Binder and Marco Bezzecchi. He was 6/10 at the start of the lap. That's already been cut in half halfway through this lap. Maverick Vinales can only watch on. He was showing kind of pace that suggested he might well be able to join this group with the pace he was setting. He was setting fastest laps for fun early on in the race, but he is now out of contention through this part of the lap, through the fast right there of Holger Heider coming through. Brad Binder does tend to close up on the back of Pekka Bagnaia, but through Ramschuk, Bagnaia is able to eke out a little bit of an advantage, so he's not under threat.
Podiumnya antara 3 orang ini kah?
Final chicane as they complete lap 9 then of 26. This is lap 10. And once again, Marco Bezzecchi comfortably the quickest of that leading trio. 1:33.2 for him last time around. He was 3/10 quicker than the pair ahead of him.
Another Sunday shock of a Vinales. That's a 4th DNF in the last 5 Grand Prix for him. We follow the top trio then in this tight first sector. Second
Iya,
gear all the
KTM
way
versus
through here,
Ducati.
turns 3, 4, then back to first gear for this low speed. The only first gear corner around Aston. Something's happened to a latest Spargo. And look at his front brake protector there.
Iya, front brake-nya kenapa ada di atas dah?
For the Aprilia man on that number 41 machine. It was going through turn 5, of course, 1 year ago, where he was ran off circuit by the crashing Quattararo. Some days in Aston of late have been not very kind to Quattararo, have they? He had 2 crashes in the Grand Prix here last year, and another high-speed one here today, which collected his arc. Let's try and find out.
Nih, Dici, ya Allah, Dici bisa-bisanya ada Willy.
He's going to come up behind Luca Marini going into this first corner. Marini gets pinched between Binder and Bezzecchi.
Kontak sama Marini. Dor, langsung tuh front brake-nya. Aero-nya juga ya.
That shows what a phenomenal job. We said he was doing a fantastic job of later Spargo, but take into account the damage to that.
Raul Fernandez off. Ya, Raul Fernandez jatuh. William aja ngapain-ngapain ya. Bener-bener. Itu susah loh bawa motor kayak gitu katanya. Karena nggak seimbang. Yes, 9. Ayo terus.
Fernandez has just plummeted down the order. He's yet to come through the 3rd sector, so here he might have crashed out of the Grand Prix somewhere else around the lap. We're riding on board now with Jorge Martin, who might be in for a bit of a lonely afternoon there in.
Ayo kalahin Marini DJ. Lutfi, thank you ya udah nge-like. Pedrosa main loh di Misano.
Into tyre problems up ahead, or someone crashes out. Martin looks locked down there in 5th place, with Alex Marquez having a very good afternoon just behind him in 6th.
This is a top job, isn't it, by Alexis Spargo? When you think about that big early.
Iya, tapi masih lama iya. Tapi seenggaknya ya ada hype gitulah. Wih, Pedrosa main. Sama ngarepin Bautista sih, serius. Aku pengen lihat Bautista lagi dulu sebelum Bautista pindah ke Voltisbeek. Aku ngefans sama Bautista. Aku ngefans Bautista dari dia zaman-zamannya battle sama Marco Simoncelli di 250 cc. Bener kayaknya ngegain motornya kayak aneh gitu. Bukan aneh, emang riding style-nya dia kayak gitu. Dari dulu dia bawa KTM kayak gitu kan. Ini orang kayaknya dapat problem deh. Ini orang dapat problem kayaknya. Lihat, ada problem nih pasti. Lebar. Pantas DJ bisa nyalip. Cover tag Morbidelli lagi.
Backing off a little bit just to ease the temperature on his front tyre, but it clearly wasn't the case. It was clearly the pace getting quicker up ahead of him, allowing Bagnaia and Binder to ease. Ada
yang lebih aneh lagi gaya balapnya. Ini Stephen Odendal. DAAL. Itu gaya balapnya kayak Binder juga. Aku nonton dia di apa sih namanya? Moto2 Chef.
You just wonder now whether Bagnaia, knowing that Binder's got the soft on, thinking, okay, I'm just going to try and up the pace here now, push Binder into a place and a pace where he doesn't really want to be with the soft rear tyre. How much is this going to be eating up the grip on Binder's soft rear tyre? Bagnaia, they come over the line again. Binder, again, is the slightly quicker man in second place. The South African, as we mentioned pre-race, he's the ultimate Sunday man, isn't he? And he is piling the pressure on Pecco here now in this first
Jaraknya jauh lagi Maridi.
also just finding another one.
Berapa sih penasaran aku jaraknya? Aduh, 2,5 jaraknya jauh banget. Takanagami dapat long lap penalty. Jangan benar pelabem. Kayak aneh gitu. Iya, yang di Saxering ya. Di Aragon, sorry, yang di Aragon. Tahu. 0,1 bisa banget 0,1. Cuman masalahnya Pecco kayaknya bisa ngedefend dengan sangat defensif. Masalahnya tinggal itu, bisa nggak nih nerobos masuk. Defense-nya Pecco juga bagus. Bang, berapa lap lagi? 14. Oh, ada yang nge-share, thank you Gaspol, udah nge-share. Punggung Nakagami, punggung berat buang. Martin fastest lap. Nakagami harus gendong Honda. Wah, harus ngejar lagi tuh. Biasanya ngedeket lagi. Aduh, turun berapa ya? 1, 2, 3 ke 4. Kalau nggak salah antara 3 dan 4 ini. 4 pas 4-nya. Ya pas 4. Nih. Ya 3 ke 4 dah. Jadi benar 3 ke 4. Back with our leaders then. There's confirmation on the screens of Jorge Martin's brilliant 1:33.065. Doing that pace in these baking hot temperatures on the pretty well worn Michelin tyres already. Just shows that Jorge Martin potentially, you feel that maybe only a late Spargo, he'll be able to pick off in the second half of this Grand Prix. Posisi 1, 2, 3. Pecco, Binder, Biesecki. Ikelekona Test Rider Honda, bukan. Dia rider Honda World SBK. Ya, technical problem. Kesel tuh Ikelekona. Alex Spargaro 4. Wah, kesel banget tuh. Dapat poin nih padahal tadi. Kalau nggak jatuh. Why? Honda. DJ masih 9, masih. Sedang mencoba mengejar. Jangan. Technical problem itu pasti Iker. Ya kasihan ya, udah dapat poin itu padahal. Walaupun cuman 2 atau 4 atau 3 gitu.
Yes, my first thought where he ran straight ahead at the fastest change of direction, which takes the most energy, and with that dislocated shoulder, I imagine that played a part. I went down to the garage. They're not telling me what went wrong. He rode back to the garage, but I watched the debrief, and there was talk of a head shake, you know, the steering pushing the brakes apart and then running straight ahead. So I think he doesn't have the strength in that shoulder to hold on to the bike, causing him problems.
Yeah, thanks to that, Simon. Unfortunately, Miguel Oliveira's race coming to a premature end. He was pretty rapid on that first part of the Grand Prix. He's up inside the top 6 as the helicopter shot.
Wah, makin ngejauh Binder.
Out of the left-hand side of your picture, his advantage still just under 7/10 of a second. Binder, Bezzecchi just can't get close enough to show the South African his front wheel. There's Aleix Espargaro continuing his superb ride to 4th place. If it is back-to-back 4th place,
Sirkuit paling berbahaya kayaknya nggak ada, bisa-bisa aja. Suzuka nggak sih? Tapi kan udah nggak ada di kalender MotoGP. Posisi 1, 2, 3 Peko, Binder, Bezzecchi. Ya, Sentul, betul, Sentul itu berbahaya. Sentul.
On board with Marco Bezzecchi, a bit of a head shake of his own there, coming through the fast sweepers in the final sector. With this limited time remaining in this Grand Prix, 10 laps to go, Marco Bezzecchi would surely not be still sat in 3rd place deliberately.
10 lap lagi, 10 lap lagi.
He's got to get past Brad Binder first before he does anything about Pecco Bagnaia. Bezzecchi did pull a 1:33.2 out of the bag last time around, which was 3/10 quicker than the pair up ahead of him. But with 10 laps to go, Bezzecchi, if he has got more up his sleeve, he can't wait too much longer before he has to launch an attack on Binder, which he looks like he might be doing now.
Binder kayaknya nggak bisa bertahan dah. XCP di mana? Mana ya? Silverstone, Agustus. Wah, kan baru dibilang.
This is his part of Assen through the high speed turn 6 and 7 and attack towards Teresa. Binder's trying to immediately
Bezzecchi naik.
Bezzecchi then, we are halfway around this lap 17, 10 to go here. You know Binder's just going to go all in, aren't you? Full send here from the South African. The gap then, now Bezzecchi has got into 2nd place. He's just over a second to Bagnaia. What can he do in these final 9 laps or so to try and make it a dream double here in Holland?
Yeah, we're going to find out in the next lap and a half just how much
Taruh ente lagi.
had up his sleeve. It's up to 1.2 seconds.
Hari-hari taruh.
Through the 3rd sector, of course, is Bezzecchi still defending a touch from Brad Binder. Binder right on the rear wheel of Bezzecchi. The last thing that many
Set, set.
Nice. Into the final chicane. Binder opts not to do that. His battle in the closing stages might well be with Aleix Espargaro up behind him. So we have 9 laps to go, and Pecco Bagnaia, who did a 33.3 last time around, has 1.28 seconds of an advantage over Marco Bezzecchi. Bezzecchi, though, has got 9 laps to try and close back in on Bagnaia. This is the lap where we might find out just how much pace Bezzecchi still has at his disposal.
He's done well there, got his head down as he had to keep the hard-charging Binder at bay, because he knew any chance that he had of hunting down Bagnaia and taking the victory here in Assen, he could not afford to let Binder get back immediately through on him, because that would have been game
Bang,
over.
red flag terbanyak di sirkuit apa? Styrian, Austria. Waktu itu 2 kali ya. Pernah 2 kali kayaknya. Setahu gitu doang. Nggak tahu ya yang lain. Semuanya kayaknya RS iya.
CCTV footage to get a close look at what happened between Quartararo and Zarco. As we saw it in the background earlier on, Quartararo is going to lose the front here, and John Zarco on the outside of him has just got absolutely nowhere to go.
That's a scary one, isn't it? The 2 Frenchmen are coming together.
Bang, nanti sirkuit selanjutnya di mana? Silverstone.
That's the second high-speed crash that Johan Zarco's had this weekend.
Alex ini mengancam. Martin juga mengancam.
For Pecco Bagnaia, we start lap 19 and 26. The gap nearly 1.4 seconds between the 2 Italians, between the 2 VR46 Academy colleagues. Binder, we ride on board with now through this tight first sector. He was exactly a 10th behind Bezzecchi to start this lap 19. Don't discount Alexis Spargo still though from potentially sticking his nose in this podium battle, because once again on that last lap he was exactly 900ths quicker than Binder. Not much, but it's just keeping the Aprilia man interested as we move into the final 7.5 laps, and he will also potentially be ready to pounce on Binder's choice of that soft rear tyre.
Must be frustrating for Marco Bezzecchi. He made that mistake into the Gertima chicane, and all the time that he gained.
Aduh, siapa nih yang jatuh? Hari-hari. Shoo. Just front end. 9 malah. Energizing apa? Jing wae.
19th lap here for the Aprilia man. Look at this now. He closes down on Bezzecchi and Binder on the brakes to the Timor chicane. He started this lap, Alexis Spargo 7/10 behind Binder. He comes over the line just under 4/10 down. What a lap.
Marquez berapa? Marquez nggak ikut.
Best of the Grand Prix so far, 133. 187. We can see visually he was closing in on the two men ahead of him. He was 4/10 faster than Binder. This is a brilliant late charge coming here from Alexis Spargo.
Brad Binder will be thinking, not again, surely not again. Last year he was overtaken at the very last chicane by Alexis Spargo. Jack Miller, of course, also fell foul to that move. Alexis Spargo might be about to deal more late heartache and acid from Brad Binder. That podium position is coming under threat.
Binder's getting murdered coming out of that first gear Struben. He's so desperate to get on the gas. We saw him pop a little bit of a wheelie there as he fired that KTM through the Weinschlang, and that's just cost him more meters to Bezzecchi ahead of him, and it's dropping him back the clutches of this man, Alexis Spargo, who is without a podium in 13 Grand Prix since Aragon last year. Can't believe we're saying that. Alexis Spargo, the big surprise package, wasn't it? The surprise title.
Berapa lap lagi? 7 lap.
2022. And Espargaro's pace, his great rhythm, is bringing Roy Martin through as well. Martin just off this podium battle, but he also is circulating in those low 133s, comfortably faster than Bezzecchi and Binder. So the Martinator also potentially on course for a 4th straight Sunday podium in 2023.
Yeah, he's the fastest rider on circuit at the moment, but make no mistake, Marco Bezzecchi hasn't given up on this one just yet. He's 4/10 up on Bagnaia so far on this lap, but Bagnaia tends to be better through that final chicane. Last lap then, Bagnaia did a 1:33.5, but Bezzecchi did a 1:33.190. The lead cut from 1.4 to 1.1 seconds.
It's got a feeling of deja vu, hasn't it, this Assen Grand Prix? A flashback to last year when there were some rain spots falling. It was all about Bagnaia versus Bezzecchi, just as it was in the sprint yesterday. Now then, Alexis Spargo. Binder and Alexis Spargo swap 1:33.4s. Nothing between the two men. Currently circulating in 3rd and 4th place. It's coming out of that first gear, turn number 1, where Binder is suffering. He's not quite got the acceleration of the Ducati, and of course with the
Bezzecchi makin mendekat.
that's probably starting to spin up as well as he tries to get the power down. Binder desperately clinging on here for that place on the podium, to try and exact a bit of revenge on this Assen circuit after he lost the podium in the sprint yesterday.
Once again, the first sector is where Marco Bezzecchi is gaining time, hand over fist on Pecco Bagnaia. It was really the first sector that earned Bezzecchi pole position yesterday, because Bagnaia very nearly caught him over the rest of the laps. He snatched pole position. The lead is back under a second now between Bagnaia and Bezzecchi. Binder is coming under increasing pressure from Alexis Spargo. Spargo could be close enough in the next lap or two to launch an attack into the final chicane, but as we've seen, Brad Binder will not give that one up easily.
The only man in the top 5 with the soft compound rear tyre is the South African, who has another snake left-right, snapped sideways. I think that's how hard he's pushing that factory Aprilia. You can see there that damaged right aero on the underneath the fairing of Alexis Spargo's factory Aprilia. What a ride this is from the 33-year-old Spaniard. He came over the line exactly 0.3 of a second behind Brad Binder. One issue that Alexis Spargo has talked incessantly about this season, when he is right in the slipstream of a rider ahead of him, he has had big problems with spikes in front tyre pressure, and front tyre temperature. Is that going to be a concern for him late on here? Just on the 4.5 laps to go here in Assen. Simon, quickly down to you.
Just wanted to give, I think, a deserved shout out for Taka Nakagami. He's matching lap times of, for example, what Bagnaia did a lap ago. He's just doing an amazing job. I can't believe it on a machine that not many people want to ride or having much success, you know, staying on it. So shout out to Taka.
Wow.
Absolutely, Simon. On that previous lap,
Taka katanya kenceng dia. Lap time-nya mirip-mirip sama Peko.
Was less than a tenth slower than Pecco Bagnaia. There are anxious faces on the right-hand side of the picture. Text guys, that former Grand Prix winner himself, very much a key part of Brad Binder's backroom team here in MotoGP. It could feel like a long forward a bit lapse for Binder's boys and girls in that Tech 3, in that Red Bull KTM garage, because Aleix Espargaro, he's been sat on Binder's rear tyre now, hasn't he, for a good 4 or 5 laps, but as we've seen too often this year for Aleix Espargaro, he's been in these positions.
Wah, Alex Marquez long lap penalty.
Marquez gets a long lap penalty for repeatedly exceeding track limits. Marquez currently in 6th place.
It won't cost him anything.
Yeah, he's got a big advantage over Luke Marie, so that's not going to disturb him too much. It should be a safe P6.
Tapi tetap di posisi 6 si Alex Marquez. Gak ada kan aku pakai headset nih.
Within sort of striking distance on a 9/10 of a second back to Pecco Bagnaia.
Yeah, on that last lap, Bagnaia responded once again. A 33.5, Benteke a 33.8. He might well be out of time now. He's going to have to take 3/4 tenths a lap out of the world champion to catch him from there. What he has done, at least, he's broken Binder, who's now in a defensive job for the remaining stages of this race in 3rd place. Aleix Espargaro, though, swarming all over the back of him, and Jorge Martin is now closing in on the back of them through that first sector. Martin took 3/10 out of the pair ahead of him, and it's a 3-way fight now for the final podium position.
Just look at, you can see as he goes through the bull just how much that right wing of Aleix Espargaro is flapping around there. I just wonder whether that's a consequence. We haven't really seen that much. I just wonder whether that's maybe some turbulent air, some dirty air that he's picking up behind Brad Binder now. He's got closest to the KTM man, but that right wing really flapping around underneath Aleix Espargaro. Is he lining up a move here? Look, you can see it there on the right-hand side as his front brake protector sticking vertically in the air. That was, of course, the first corner contact with Luca Marini. Here comes Jorge.
Berapa lap lagi? 3. Ya, 3 lap lagi.
With the man who did the dream double 7 days ago in the Saxon ring. He fancies another podium here, doesn't he? Jorge Martin, he knows that there's important world championship points at stake here. With Pecco Bagnaia leading this Grand Prix, he's only going to increase his world championship. So just trying to limit the damage here is Martin. Easier said than done, though, because passing Aleix Espargaro and Brad Binder having caught them, well, that's a whole different ball game, isn't it?
Yeah, Martin is miles faster than this pair. He was over half a second quicker than the pair ahead of him. Of course, Aleix Espargaro's pace is largely being dictated by Binder up ahead of him. It's not the finest example aesthetically of an Aprilia we've ever seen, with the brake protector sticking upwards, the aero hanging off on the bottom of it as well, but Aleix Espargaro is still doing a tremendous job on it. Can he fix this puzzle of Brad Binder up ahead of him, who's still hanging on to 3rd place? Is it all going to come down to that Gertie chicane? Aleix Espargaro's urgency here to make a move on Binder might well just pick up now that he knows that Jorge Martin might soon be about to attack him.
He might just have the box clever here, Jorge Martin. He's worked so hard to get himself into this podium battle with Espargaro and Binder directly ahead of him. He knows, he'd have seen it throughout this race, just how good his Ducati is at launching.
Suka MotoGP dari kapan? Jadi kecil. Pecco ngejar menang lah. Biar makin jauh klasemennya. Ini 3 orang dari tadi nggak battle dah.
Summer break, we ride on board then with Jorge Martin in this tight first sector. We're now going to see whether Ducati has a clear advantage. Here we go, the perfect time to pick up the drone camera as our top 5 men sweep through the first gear, turn number 5. And now Jorge Martin just going to start clicking through that seamless gear.
Tuh ditata.
Is he going to be close enough to strike on Aleix Espargaro through 6 and 7? No, he is not quite on this lap.
Benteke can't afford to roll off and settle for second just yet. As you can see, he's only half a second clear of the Binder, Espargaro, Martin battle. They were all quicker than Bezzecchi last time around. Bezzecchi knows that at this stage it's going to take a mistake from Bagnaia for him to take that double victory this weekend. Bagnaia has done such a good job of getting to the front at the right moment, passing Brad Binder, taking advantage of that mistake Binder made into the Gertzman chicane, pulling the pin and moving clear before Bezzecchi was able to get into second place. It's a half-second gap between Bezzecchi and Binder, but surely the battle here is between third, fourth,
Binder tuh strongnya di sini, jadi pada susah nyalipnya atau ngedeket. Alex masih jauh, masih terlalu jauh. Wah, last lap nih battle-nya nih.
Missing that launch off the line, then just spending a little bit too long behind Brad Binder, as that cost him his hopes. We're on the last lap then. Pekka Bagnaia has an advantage of 1 second to defend here between himself and more glory in the Netherlands. Here comes Aleix Espargaro. Is there going to be more fireworks from him into that Timmer chicane? He got on the inside of both Binder.
Masih kejauhan.
He cuts a tight line on that factory Aprilia. Surely it's all going to come down to turn 16 and 17 in this battle for the
udah last lap.
podium. He can't relax it because Martin wants a piece of the cake as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, Aleix Espargaro is surely going to be thinking block pass here. I mean, he's probably thinking at the moment, make sure I don't lose fourth place to Martin. But look how much quicker he is than Binder through the fast corners of turns 6 and 7. This is turn 8 now. The short squirt up towards the turn 9, and then they begin to wind through the gears through Mandevade and into the final sector. Can Aleix Espargaro get close enough?
Wingletnya dah.
Has this one covered off, doesn't he? Barring any late dramas, any late disasters for him, he is going to take back-to-back wins here in the Dutch TT, just like his manager.
Pizzeki gagal back-to-back wins.
2004 and 2005. Binder's had a fantastic second and third sector. It looks like he has done enough. He's kept enough in the tank.
Martin nih. Martin.
He may well lose fourth place here, but
ya, defensive fan. Ya elah nggak ada overtake.
In the Dutch TT in 2023, it's Pekka Bagnaia who takes the victory.
Martin belum bisa dapat. Nggak ada overtake dong.
Brad Binder somehow does hold on for third place. Brilliant job by him. Aleix Espargaro, fourth place. He took it by a whisker. 9/1000 of a second clear of Jorge Martin, who takes fifth place.
Championship-nya tuh.
Big moment of the championship then for Pekka Bagnaia. He does get revenge on Marco Bezzecchi. Embrace here at the end of 26. Very tough, mentally and physically demanding laps here in Assen. And going into our 5-week summer break, it's a 35-point lead.
Libur.
Pekka Bagnaia.
Libur sebulan. Libur sebulan, guys.
1,000 fans here today in Assen, and they were treated to another race of brilliance, weren't they, by Pekka Bagnaia. Superb job by him. 1.2 seconds he was ahead of Marco Bezzecchi. 1:33.837 on that last lap. By Bagnaia made sure that there was no chance for Bezzecchi to come through. Martin does take fifth place. He was so close. Just look at the exit he's going to get here on the Timmer chicane. It's going to be what, the width of a front tyre between him and that fourth place. Aleix Espargaro will feel that that's just as he hangs on for fourth place after what happened to him in the first corner.
1,000 of a seconds kah?
Factory Aprilia to fourth spot. Alex Marquez rounds out the top 6. Top 10s for Marini, Nakagami, Morbidelli and Augusto Fernandez, and points for Savadori, Ralph Fernandez, Bradl and Folger. Just 14 finishes.
Saya mati dia jatuh tuh.
The hottest conditions of the season so far. We lost the likes of Viñales.
Berat turun posisi. Kenapa? Long lap lagi. Long lap lagi. Ya, bener. Brad Binder exceeding track limit lagi. Serius. Alex langsung. Alex. Hah, masa sih? Serius? Hah, serius? Lah? Serius kah?
because for the
Ah,
second
di
time
mananya?
in 24 hours, Brad Binder has had a
Dua
podium
kali loh.
snatched away post-race after the
Buset,
checkered flag,
buset.
just like he did yesterday, celebrating third place at the end of the Tissot sprint, celebrating
Hah?
third place at the end of the Grand Prix, and
Di
lightning
sini
to
lagi.
strike twice. This is incredible. If you exceed the track limit on the last lap, it's an automatic one position
Ya
demotion.
Allah, tipis
And
banget.
history does repeat itself in the most cruelest of fashions. For Brad Binder, your heart goes out to him and to the factory KTM squad. They can't believe it.
Gak ngerti, gak ngerti.
At the first corner. And Brad Binder,
Wow.
history does repeat itself. Lightning does strike twice. I'm gobsmacked. I cannot believe what I've witnessed. For the second time then, in 2 days, Brad Binder takes the checkered flag in third place. 39 race laps where he's dug so deep for the podium.
Di situ lagi
And there
dia.
is only the reward of fourth. Oh, that's going to be another tough one to swallow. But it's Aleix Espargaro. Yesterday, it was Fabio Quartararo who took the present. Today, it's Aleix Espargaro. Look at this. It's millimeters.
Ya
But he's committed the
Allah.
same crime, Lewis.
Absolute carbon copy, mirror image of what we saw yesterday. You can see just behind him, Jorge Martin goes even further wide on the final lap. But of course, he was at the back of the group. He didn't gain a place as a result of that. It suddenly makes those 9,000ths of a second between Aleix Espargaro and Jorge Martin important, doesn't it? Because Aleix Espargaro, rather than holding on to fourth place, actually earns himself a podium.
Well, you could not script that late.
Bener-bener sial, bener-bener sial.
Incredible. What a way to move into the summer break. Your heart goes out to Brad Binder, but yesterday he did say himself, the rules are the rules. He did stray on the wrong side of that curve on that burst of acceleration between Steckenwald and De Bolt. And he has done the exact same thing 24 hours later. Let's go down a pit lane. It's been another phenomenal day for Pecco
Bisa tuh
Bagnaia,
diedit
world
tuh.
champion and the factory
Do you
captain.
get deja vu?
Gigi, the lead you assignment.
Gigi, I think Pecco's just pulled in, so Gigi's shaking his hand. I'll have to come back, guys. Sorry about that. Oh no, Gigi's here with us now. What do you think of Pecco's efforts today?
You know, he did an unbelievable race. Honestly speaking, he ride like a perfect rider. I cannot tell anything more.
Couldn't agree more. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks to Gigi Delinia. You know you've done a good job when the boss said you were perfect. Hard to argue, isn't it, with that man on your screens right now. Pecco Bagnaia then. He is back on the top step of the podium. He gets an embrace from the man who has been the driving force, the figurehead, the pioneer behind Ducati's current domination in MotoGP. This man, well, it was another flawless performance from him, wasn't it? A fourth victory of the season for Pecco Bagnaia. He did it in Portimao, he was the winner in Jerez, the winner in Mugello, and he extends his lead in the World Championship. Not the win he wanted, not the Dutch TT win he wanted on the CV, but when all's said and done, that's a fantastic weekend, isn't it, for Muni VR46 and Marco Bezzecchi. A pole, a sprint win, second in the Grand Prix. I think pre-weekend, Lewis, you'd offered him that, he'd have signed it, no question.
The bragging rights, though, will go to Bagnaia in the battle between the VR46 Academy riders. Bezzecchi, though, as you say, bouncing back from a couple of races where he didn't necessarily hit the same high standards that we saw from him in Argentina and at Le Mans. But there's no question that the gold standard in MotoGP these days is Pecco Bagnaia. He gets a hug from Aleix Espargaro, whose wait for a podium is over. His first podium of 2023. But as he gets serenaded by his Ducati team there in Parc-Fermé, Pecco Bagnaia knows that he will go into the summer break in a position of real strength in the MotoGP World Championship. 35 points clear of Jorge Martin and 36 ahead of Marco Bezzecchi.
Aleix Espargaro's first podium in 13 since Aragon last September. That was a great job.
Kazakhstan dibatalkan. Gantinya India kalau nggak salah. Tadi bilang tuh September ya, September atau Oktober gitu. Ya Cikarang pokoknya. Cikarang pokoknya lah.
Pecco Bagnaia now equals Andrea Dovizioso as the most successful Italian rider with, in terms of MotoGP victories, 15 I'm guessing then now there's only Valentino Rossi and
Meluncur
Giacomo
Cikarang.
Agostini for Italy who've won more Premier Class races than this young man. Well, he's got quite a distance to go to Valentino.
Marquez ganti Zarco tahun depan.
Just in a small match of another 70 wins that he needs also. Yeah, plenty to ponder for this
Marquez
young man.
susah, masuk dekat itu susah.
No question about his one lap speed. He does crack a big smile on the wave as he heads to the beach for his summer holidays. But seems to be a repeat of what happened to him in the sprint yesterday. Good for one that to get himself on the front row, but never in the game, wasn't he? Dropped from 3rd to 10th yesterday. Slightly better today, 3rd to 7th. But look at the smile on the face of Aleix Espargaro. It's as wide as the Netherlands, isn't it? 3rd place for him, he's with Simon.
Aleix, in a race, a lot of people struggled to stay on. You went forward and with a damaged bike. What do you think of that?
Yeah, on the start, I think best start of my career, and then I had a contact
Dulu ya
with
guys,
Marini.
aku ngantuk.
I tried to avoid it,
Itu
but
yang
on
salah
the
satu
last
aku.
part I touched, and every right corner I had
Fabio
small,
Zarco.
strange feeling, like a lot of shaking, and was
Gak ada yang
difficult to
salah.
stay on the bike. It was very hot.
Fabionya
The
aja
lap times
Wolfgang,
were
nggak
super
ada
slow, but was
kesengajaan.
difficult to stay.
Tapi nggak tahu ya
Was
nanti
also for me to
restriction
overtake Brad, but I
gimana.
want to stay behind to push
Bang
him to
siapa
make
aja
a
yang
mistake, and
podium?
finally it pays off. I would like to dedicate this race
Peko Bezeki,
to my personal
Alex
team. This is
Espargaro.
for Joan, Albert, Robert,
Thank you guys yang
my
udah
wife
mampir,
Laura, and my kids. I have the best
yang
team
udah
ever.
nge-like,
Has
yang
been
udah
hard in the
nge-follow,
first part of the season,
semuanya.
but we remain
Sampai
together.
jumpa
So this is
di
for all of
bulan
them. Thank you. I
Agustus.
love you.
Congratulations.
Dadah. Thank you Rangga Saliba.
By Aleix Espargaro. That was the result
And now-
of his first lap contact with Luca Marini. We saw it, didn't we, in that race? There he is on the 41 bike, on the inside of his teammate Maverick Vignali. Just checks up there, and look at that, the whack on that right wing as he made contact with Luca Marini's rear tyre. That would not be an easy motorcycle to muscle around this Aston circuit with all of its high-speed chain direction. Look at the position of his front brake lever protector as well. The flapping wing, but he was unflappable, wasn't he? Aleix Espargaro, cracking job there, and this was the key moment, just as he did in the sprint yesterday. Brad Binder straying on the wrong side of the curve, going through turn number 8, and that's the moment when Aleix Espargaro, it dawns on him that all that pressure he did put on Binder, it did work, and he's been through some tough times over the last few months, hasn't he, Aleix Espargaro? That cycling accident he had pre-Mugello, which he's still recovering from, but he is back on the podium. Emotional weekend for him as well, with his brother Paul back in the paddock here this weekend after his serious injuries in Portimao. Great job for him, great job for the factory Aprilia team, and a great weekend for this man. Marco Bezzecchi second, he's with Simon.
Marco, what a fantastic weekend. Back on the podium today. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, I'm very happy because unfortunately in the start I had a contact. Thank you guys.